Good evening, it's 8:05. Welcome to Red and Blue News. Welcome to the Red and Blue Review. It's a lovely Sunday evening. Sorry we're a little bit late, just a couple of technical issues going on in the background. Nothing you need to worry about. The show will be fine this evening. I'm delighted to be joined by Ian Lyons. Ian, mate, good evening. How you doing?
Evening, Nick. Evening all. How are we all?
Well, I'm just trying to sort out the screen a little bit, get rid of that, drop that down. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you'll be delighted to know that it's going to be Ian and I all evening. Don't forget the wonderful Jill Holyoke has decided to take his body off on a holiday and bronze his body somewhere. Ian,
I know. Look at all this room.
I know, we don't even have to be a widescreen because he's not here anymore. You realise that?
That's very true, very true. Mind you, my head could probably fit a widescreen, to be fair.
Yeah, he's remarkably large, isn't he? I did notice that.
Too kind.
Am I being rude? So, since we last saw each other, obviously we've had an international break. Haven't you been somewhere?
Yes, I took a few days out. Well, it's the stress of doing the podcast, and it's the stress of dealing with this technology. So yeah, I had to take a few days out, and then now I'm back.
Well, welcome back. So, where did you go?
Rhodes. Very nice.
Is it? Well, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we're late on parade. I can't see the listeners. Shawnee, I know you're in my ear. We are broadcasting live, yeah?
We are.
Okay. Sean's not talking to me for some reason. I don't know why. He seems to have gone very quiet. Are you there, Sean? Thank you. Right, okay. So, like I said, we had... I'm a little bit concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain to you what is going on here. Everything will be fine during the show. We were hoping that Sean was going to be able to produce for us this evening, but he's had technical issues at his end, but it doesn't matter. I'm here and Ian's here. And we're going to talk you through yesterday. Now, for those of you that were on the page today, and by the way, before I start, I do want to mention the amount of contact that we've had, especially in the questions thread today. That is a record number of comments on that record. Last time I looked, I think it was 150 odd. Ian, you might be able to see it, but it was 150 that I'm aware of. And I have to say to you, thank you for each and every one of your contacts, because we get to see all of them all the time. I'm just looking at your watch party to see if it's come up. Your watch party's come up on my screen. That's good.
Don't be so surprised.
Oh, Christ. So you're not struggling with
three of my friends.
No. So there's plenty of us, like, people. How many people are watching us now, Ian? Can you see?
No, because I've got the watch party going, so I can't.
I'm sure Sean can tell me in here in a second, but it's
44 people.
Okay. So all of you, wherever you're watching in the world, welcome to Red and Blue News. Welcome to Red and Blue Review. Before I forget to do it, I need to plug our friends and associates at palaceeagles.com. We are, as I said to you before, Lucy and I are working extremely hard with them. We're doing lots of stuff in the background, all to do with podcasts and everything else. And if you haven't seen our catalogues or anything, our catalogue of podcasts, please go along to Acast, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all the bits and pieces, because I want you to see them. And hopefully during this podcast, you're going to see lots of different images. Now, for example, here's one that I made earlier. Well, that's not true, because I never made that. I want to give a special shout out to a page member and friend of the show, a guy called Tom Clark Samuel. Tom, if you're watching the show this evening, mate, or you're watching this on the podcast, can I say to you, these images that you're supplying us are fantastic. That's just an example of the stuff that we got that he's supplied us for the show this evening.
Well done, Tom.
I have to say to you, they are of supreme quality, and mate, I'm very, very grateful to you supplying them to us. And he's going to be working alongside Lucy and myself. Give you another example. I know this is on with plenty of other people that have seen this out there, but it's he's actually cropped that with the Red and Blue Review and all the rest of it. So, mate, thank you so much for all your efforts, all your endeavour. All he wants to do, Ian, is he just wants to work alongside us on Red and Blue News and Red and Blue Review. and to improve what we do. And by looking at that image, he certainly is doing that. So, mate, thank you once again.
Well, we have set the bar quite low, to be fair.
Well, you're only saying that because you're on.
Yeah, well, there you go.
And like I say, Gel Holyoke is away from the show this week. You'll all be aware that he's very busy in Cape Verde. Now, the reason we keep mentioning Gel's holiday in Cape Verde is because he's doing some work behind the scenes that none of you are aware of, very few of you are aware of. And when you see the standalone show that we will be putting out over the next couple of weeks, you will say to yourself, my God, we are dealing with a supreme human being. I've been in touch with Gel a couple of times this week, and he's done a fantastic bit of work behind the scenes, and I can't wait to share it with you. I know he can't wait to share it with you as well. So anyway, shall we get on with the show a little bit? I want to talk to you, if you go, those of you in the fan zone yesterday, you may be aware of our former striker who only played for us a handful of times, Matt Jansen. Matt Jansen was in there signing books. Well, we have a couple of copies that belong to Red and Blue Review. Okay, they're not signed, but I'm in touch with Matt personally. I have his mobile number right here. Okay, and when we do decide to give these away as a prize, somebody want to come up with a competition? I don't mind what we do in terms of a competition. Somebody want to let us know in the chat what competition you want us to run? Well, we'll run a competition and we will give these away. And what I will do is I will send them to Matt. Okay, I will personally pay for these to go to Matt by post, get him to sign them and send them back to us so I can give them to the winner of the competition of your choosing. Anybody, Ian, you can choose it if you want, but the bottom line is we haven't got a competition set up for it, but I'd love to give those books away. Go on, mate.
I've got an idea. I was going to say, obviously we're going to be doing the walk next week, so maybe people can, the nearest person to guess in how long it takes us to do the walk, could probably walk away with a copy.
Well, no, please, no, don't do that, Sean. So the beauty about what Ian's just said is that it's we are doing a 12-mile walk across London for the Arsenal game. Ian, you seem to have gone quiet, mate. I can't hear you.
No, well, it's because I wasn't talking. I was just nodding.
Oh, sorry, mate. I'll tell you what it is. I've got a time delay on two of my screens. That's all it is. And on that one, you weren't talking. On this one, you were.
Oh, well, there you go.
So we're going to be hiking across London. Now, Holyoke himself said to me that he was going to join us, but since then, I've noticed on social media, he's been whinging about his dodgy knees. He's back from holiday sometime during the week. I'm hoping he would join us. Ian has fully committed to it. So have I. Whether we do some part or all of the walk, I don't know. Now, that would cause an issue in itself that we don't, Ian's asking a question, how long will it take us to do a 12-mile hike across London? Well, what you don't know, Ian, because I haven't told you this bit, was Joe and I had planned on cheating. There are 3 different stop-off points en route.
What?
There is. There's 3 different stop-off points. And the whole, you notice since we've been mentioning the walk, Paul's.
Okay, well, look, just scrub the pair of you then. Just see how long it takes me to do the walk.
There you go.
Because I'm not. There's no shortcuts. I'm not allowing you to do shortcuts, the pair of you. That's outrageous.
So I'm not allowed to mention my heart condition. Is that what you're saying?
What? That's shameful.
Oh, I have got a heart condition. You know,
only it's down to producing this show, I would have thought.
Listen, while I'll tell you what we're going to do. So, in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to know how long is it going to take Ian Lyons to do the 12-mile walk across London? I'd love to know. Can you see the people that have joined us? Oh, it's right. It's come up on my screen now. Can you see the people who have joined us this evening?
75. Yeah.
Any names?
No, I've not got the scroll rolling up, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm trying to load it on my other screen, but it's not.
Because I'm doing a watch party, that's all I've got.
Okay, and it doesn't show you on the watch party. So we're going to do a quick review of yesterday's game. What I was going to say right at the beginning is, ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are disappointed with yesterday, okay, I want to give you a little bit of a quick reality check, if you don't mind. We were playing the champions of England, the Premier League champions from last season. They put in a performance, albeit, okay, let's do both ways, albeit they were injury ravaged. Well, hang on a minute, so were we. We had to make 3 changes yesterday. So they were injury ravaged. They didn't play Aguero because he'd been involved in the car crash, was it last week or the week before? But they didn't need to. They didn't play with a recognised centre-half, okay, because they didn't need to. I know they brought John Stones on towards the end of the game, but they didn't play with a recognised centre-back, okay? So, but they are, every single one of those players would walk into our team. I think they would anyway. I don't know if you feel the same, but every single one of them would walk into our team. Would you not agree? Ian?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. I think Hodgson himself said it's it's not exactly a fair level playing field, is it? You know, he would have expected to have given them some a harder game if we would have had another £250 million to spend. So, I think that says everything, doesn't it?
And then we got players, and lots of talk in the chat today about individual performances by some of our players. Okay, and people like Benteke, if you like. And we're going to cover off the contract situation with Benteke and James Tompkins a little bit later on in the show. But personally, to me, if that bullet header of his goes in as soon as he comes on, it's a game changer. I reckon we're all over it. I think it's I don't think he played badly for the few minutes that he was on. Anyway, Ian, what I'd like you to do, we're going to spend 10 minutes, if you don't mind, just going through your notes, if you'd be so kind, and talk about the first half and their dominance of the first half, if you'd be so kind.
Okay. Well, I mean, as you said, I think all of us went into the game not expecting miracles. There was obviously the off chance that we might pull off a shock result, and behind the shock, a win. But I think there was a higher chance of us getting a draw, certainly with their recent results. But having said that, the game started as expected, with Man City dominating possession. I mean, I think overall they had 71% possession, which is pretty much par for the course with the way that we set up, certainly against City anyway. Obviously, the major talking point was obviously Gaeta, who was injured, with Wayne Hennessy coming in. Lots of that on the emojis on Facebook as soon as people had heard the news. But to be fair, he showed early promise. He came off the line he's on a number of occasions, something we haven't seen him do all too often. And I know that he's got man of the match and a lot of articles and from what I've seen on people commenting on. So, fair play. He did all right. He did really well. But it only took 13 minutes with the pressure mounting. And there'd already been a couple of half chances from Jesus and De Silva when the most obvious event of the day occurred, and that is a Luka Milivojevic yellow card. I mean, that's 6 yellow cards. I mean, it's after 13 minutes of coming back from a ban. It's 6 yellow cards in 8 games. And I know that we'll probably come on to talk about Luka later on in the show, and based on some comments that we've received in the chat. So 30 minutes yellow card. We continue to work hard. We continue to force them wide, at closing down all the making it hard to pass through the lines and everything else. And doing that, our chances on the counter attack were few and far between. And when we did get breaks, they were easily snuffed out by City, because it was just essentially just Wilf on his own, or Ayew on his own, and they just had no way of holding it up. Both Ward and PVA looked to be out of their depth, to be perfectly honest, against the quality of Sterling and Bernardo Silva in particular. And then on 39 minutes, the inevitable happened, and the latter, Bernardo Silva, put in a fabulous cross. I mean, he was given the freedom of the right wing by PVA anyway. And I know that Tompkins, some people are calling it Tompkins out for it, and suggesting that Tompkins and Hennessy were both at fault. But seriously, the cross shouldn't have been able to come in. But when it did come in, it was a fabulous cross. And Jesus did really, really well to get a diving header in off the post. There's not much really anyone could have done about it. It was all about the quality of the goal. So 1-0 down, you'd expect us to then go, okay, right, let's keep this tight until half time, and then let's regroup and come out for the second half. But no more than 2 minutes later, as City often do, they scored just another goal. And this one, it was actually, I was clapping it. The ball from Sterling, just to lob it over deftly. And Silva then took a glance to the keeper as the ball's in the air, and then looked up and still had the presence of mind to hit it low. But a little fortunate in that the onrushing Hennessy went between his legs. But nevertheless, you had to admire the quality of that goal. And it goes back to what Hodgson was saying, is it really a level playing field? They've got some of the best players in the world playing against Ward, PVA and Schlupp. So it was always going to be uphill from there. But, and the halftime whistle, I couldn't have come quick enough, I don't think.
Okay, right. Couple of things. Thank you for that. Couple of things I want to talk about first of all. From my observation, and I was standing in the Lower Holmesdale Block B, it seemed to me as though they had decided to target Joel Ward a little bit. He seemed to have won over constantly during the first half, and I don't know if you noticed the same thing. And the other thing on the same subject, I wanted to talk about Zaha. There's been lots of chat, and I'm not using them in the questions tonight, okay, because I knew that Ian and I would be discussing it. Let's do the Zaha thing now, okay. I'll start off with Paul Glance in the chat. Now, guys, I'm looking at the stuff in the chat. Good evening to each and every one of you. Keep your comment. Like Teresa's in there. Andrew Adams, you're on frigging fire in the chat today. Summer Kearson's in there. Mickey Philpott, no relation. Paul Glance. There's loads of you in there. Good evening. Damien, I can see you, mate. Graham Kitcher. Max, I know you're out there. Paul Solden, Dan Simmons. And something that Paul said in the chat just a few minutes ago. He said, I love Will Zaha, but quite frankly, he was expletive yesterday. And I'm not going to swear because there are children watching. But, okay, before I get you to talk about Will Zaha, Ian, I'm going to give you my thoughts first of all, if you don't mind. Yeah. I put in the chat, in the questions thread, he looked disinterested. He didn't track back. Okay, he was leaving Ward exposed in the first half. They realised that he's disinterested, and they targeted Joel Ward because of it. Hence, there was. I thought Joel had a great game. And first of all, before I forget to do it, hats off to the HF yesterday. I need to mention their display. It brought a lump to my throat when I saw that go up. Okay, and it was Joel Ward. Congratulations to the guys in Block E. I thought that was a supreme effort. So thank you for doing that. Whoever is responsible for that, it was outstanding. Ian, we're talking about Will Zaha. How's his mindset at the moment?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I thought it was actually getting better. But look, let's put things in perspective. It was against Man City, and no matter who you are, unless everyone is pulling their weight, then they're going to expose your weaknesses. And okay, what I was disappointed with Will was that when he got the ball, he overplayed. And that is what was disappointing for me. Because he overplayed, he turned the ball over a lot more than I'd expect him to. If he really wants to be considered a leader in that team and one of the best players, he really has to take care of the ball a lot more. When you're on attack and you've got 4 players around you, then you can afford, you're putting the press on. Then it's at that point you can afford to do the step overs, the Cruyffs and the flicks, because you've got players around you who could then challenge for the second ball. The problem was Wilf. Wilf was pretty much our only out. And as you say, then left Ward, a little vulnerable. And they just picked him off so easily because he kept doing the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Yeah, there's lots of comments in the chat, okay? And they're talking about Andrew Adams saying, Wilf who? Lee Clark saying he disagrees with me. You don't leave the centre forward on his own to make make the header, and the cross should have been cut out. He's talking about the goal. When Zaha lost the ball, he was not tracking back. Mickey Philpott says he's my love child in your dreams. Okay. Someone's agreeing with me. Paul Solan saying drop Zaha, get Townsend back in the first 11. Ladies and gentlemen, what did you think of the display? Did you think that was fitting? Our longest server now, which is obviously Joel. It was about time it'd been honoured in some way, and I was delighted. Teresa saying, and then with sulks. Well, there did seem to be a little bit about that. He was sulking. He didn't seem. He really didn't seem up for it, did he? I mean, I don't know. Is it me? I don't know. What happens? Where do we go? Do we drop him? All this sort of stuff. I don't know. Come on, give me some of your guidance. I know you're talking to me. Hang on 2 seconds. Before we go to that, I just want to talk about some. Look who's joined us. Ladies and gentlemen,
what is that?
All the way from Cape Verde, I am delighted to bring in Joel Hodio. Joel, good evening, mate.
You're right.
We were just enjoying saying how rubbish you are doing this, okay? And is it a pleasant change to be broadcasting live, mate? Welcome to the show. Are you okay?
Yeah. I've heard it's wet back there.
Oh, shut up! It's wet and bloody freezing cold.
No, I'm serious. I mean, look. I mean, it's wet here as well.
Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen.
You've made me stay by the pool just to get involved.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Hodio live from Cape Verde, where in the background, as I alluded to a while ago, he is doing something wonderful, not just on holiday. Joel, do you want to put any teasers out?
Well, no, I mean, obviously a lot of people know that what we've been doing and a lot of people from the show have been involved in, giving bits and pieces, to our calls. Hang on a second. Isaac, una pina colada, por favor?
Yes. Pina colada?
You know where it is. No, it's just a bit of it's not a teaser. What we've done has gone so well, and obviously there is other bits and pieces that we've been given by certain people and organisations that are going to be very pleasing to the eye if you're a Palace fan, and just to anyone with a heart in general. It's gone so well today. A very, very humbling experience. We've been round to a few of the kindergartens, and we're going to another kindergarten tomorrow and a school to basically give out the last of nearly 85 kilos of stuff that we bought out here. So, but yeah, I mean, we will be putting together some photos and videos of stuff, and it'll all that stuff will happen in the next couple of weeks. So, but yeah. So I managed to watch the game anyway.
As we are delighted to have you here, and the line is fine, Joel. Rob Donovan.
It's better than Nick's, to be fair.
Rob Donovan saying it looks like Tooting Bet Lido that you're standing in front of.
Yeah. Might be a little bit different than Tooting Bet, Rob.
Andrew Adams says pina colada, you soft lad.
The beer is not very good here. It's called Strella. All you do is you just drink loads of it, and you just don't bash your missus up after.
This is a family show, Jeremy.
Can you do something for us while we're here and your line's stable? Okay, would you give me a 2-minute overview on the game yesterday?
Oh, okay, right. Well, I mean, the first half's easy. 45 minutes surrender. It was just, it wasn't very nice. I didn't think it was good to watch. Yeah, I mean, and then the second half, all we did was we went after them a little bit more instead of harrying and hassling. We gave City the ball and sat back off them. And of all the teams in British football to give a ball to, if you get City on an half decent day, you know you're not going to get the ball off them. But to just sit there and literally let them play all around us was annoying to say the least. The goals. I'm not going to say anything about the goals. Goals were one was lucky and one was complete class. Anyone that blames our goalkeeper for that is, he had no blame for me yesterday, Wayne. Yeah, I mean he had no blame for me. A couple of times he came out and he flat, but other than that, he made some fantastic saves. And had it not been for him, the score would have been a whole lot worse. So, but listen, if you'd have turned around and said, we've had a good result, one good result against City, really, or two. We had the draw a couple of years ago, but to only get thumped 2-0 by City when we usually concede, 2, 3, 4, 5. I thought we did all right, and that's about it, really. It is what it is. And to be honest with you, I was sarcastic about it yesterday, but just one thing that really would disturb me more than anything was the absolute uselessness of that referee. That got to be one of the poorest decisions I've ever seen in not giving De Bruyne that
De Bruyne card. Yeah, completely agree.
I'm telling you now, 100% any of our players, he gets a yellow card. 99.9% of any other team, maybe apart from Liverpool, and the player gets a yellow card. Our players, some of our players, I'd say would go as far as it would have been a red card. But
Kiarte's 6'3" and he didn't even duck into it.
I know. I'll tell you what I'm panicking about. These dark clouds, where did these come from?
Oh, what, a new water with electrical gadgets? Don't worry about it.
The sun's going down. So pretty much like this line's going to do in a minute because I'm off for dinner with Lisa. But listen, I'm going to cut you lot off instead of you cut me off or we lose the line. So I'd like to say...
Joe, before you go, one quick question. Don't go yet because I want to ask you one quick question.
Okay, cool.
Zaha, did he give away a penalty yesterday?
Oh yes, 100%. Had it been the other way, we would have been furious. We would have been furious had that been the other way. 100%, that was a penalty, and we were lucky. I just thought we were lucky to not get an absolute thumping yesterday. So, but yeah, penalty. And did I think Wolf was any good yesterday? Absolutely not. Thought he had one of his, went back to what he looked like at the beginning of the season, which was a shame because, yesterday against Mendy, he had a chance. He had a chance to run a back four that didn't have a legitimate centre back at all in their side. And it was a little bit of a foul for me. But in saying that, he's up against the best of the best. City have the best players for me.
Max is agreeing with you in the chat. He's saying definite pen. And on your point about it could have been a real hiding, Neil Chatterjee saying it was damage limitation. And to a point, I think that probably sums up yesterday. Look, we got beaten by the champions 2-0. We didn't get beaten by the champions 20-0. We got beaten by the champions 2-0. And they are...
You're right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, talking about damage limitations, I've been in this water so long, my toes are starting to shrivel.
Mate, it's not your toes you're worried about.
I didn't even want to go there. But,
funny enough,
anyway, listen, it's been great.
Shut up, talking a minute. On behalf of everybody at Red and Blue Review, thank you for interrupting your holiday. We wish you a lovely last few days. I'll be in touch with you tomorrow, no doubt. It worked really well, mate. It worked really well.
And everything that everyone gave, you will see that it's been absolutely appreciated beyond belief. And myself and Lisa, and I know on behalf of everyone else, thanks for donating and thanks for being a part of something that's we've managed to make it work. And as you'll see in the next week or so, with the video that we're about to, the stuff we're about to chuck together, you'll see it's heartwarming. So.
Yeah, congratulations to you both. Give my love to Lisa, and mate, I'll see you in a week, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us, buddy.
Likewise, mate.
Thanks, guys. See you later. Bye.
Right, so there goes the wonderful and talented Joel Holyoke. I have to say to you, we knew that he was going to be attempted to do that, but because of what was going on technical wise, we didn't think that would pan out. But I'm delighted for you guys that it did. Ladies and gentlemen, he's doing some fantastic work. People think he's a big old bruiser. People think he's Bob the Builder type. He ain't. Okay, I'm telling you that man is a pussycat with a heart of gold. Would you not agree?
Whoa, pussycat. Yep.
I could have done with that singing. Okay. Honestly, folks, I can't wait to you to see what he's done. Okay, and what the club's involved in as well. So I don't know where to go after that. Really, what were we talking about?
Well, we did the first half, didn't we? And then he's gone on and he's pretty much summarised it. I mean, all I was going to say was, the second half was more of the same. City dominating possession and us really challenging. VAR saved us once again. This time, not well. It was for our benefit, but ironically, it was for a clear penalty with Wilf. Go on.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. There is somebody watching, okay, and there's people watching from all over the world, okay. Good evening from Spain. That was from Terry. Hello, mate. I can see you there, buddy. But there is a little lady that is watching us. Do you remember last season when we was sponsoring our girls in the development squad, or a couple of the girls from our development squad? Well, one of them has now left the Palace development squad and she's gone to make her career in America. Lauren Amina is watching us live from the States. Lauren, in the chat, please. Quick summary of how you're getting on. Just a few words so I can read them out so people can actually see it. Well done for everything you're doing. I've seen all your social media. That is proving to be a great success. Give us a little bit of detail very quickly. I'll be very grateful if you don't. I'll try and get it on there.
Yeah, that'd be good to hear.
And before we go any further, there's also somebody else out there watching, and I want to veer off the game just very briefly, if you don't mind. Okay, sure. I mentioned the Joel Ward thing, the display from the HF yesterday, and how I think that was a right thing to do to our longest server at the club. And congratulations to each and every one of them. I'm actually going to go on a bit of a rant. Ian, you don't know I'm going to do this, but I'm actually going to, instead of me calling out the HF here, I'm actually calling out the rest of the stadium. Now, controversial. Okay, I'm going to do something here, and I mean this in the right way to get this going correctly. Now, you'll all be aware that I've been very vocal over the years about the HF, good, bad, and indifferent. Okay, but most of their work, as it proved yesterday, was positive. I thought yesterday they sounded outstanding, okay, to the point where I was in Block B, as I said. I actually moved and went and stood in Block E for a part of the second half yesterday. And I saw them reaching out to the Arthur. For the first time, I saw them reaching out to the Arthur. It didn't work to start with because there's obviously a sound and slight time delay. So where the Red and Blue Army was tried a couple of times and failed, because by the time the Arthur had responded, the HF were already into their second line of, anyway, it didn't work. So they slowed it down. They used their own loaves. They used their own. I watched this happen yesterday, absolutely live, where the Red and Blue Army, and then they stopped and waited for the response from the Arthur that did come, and then they got it going, because there's that 1 second time delay with sound traveling across the stadium and back again. They stopped and they were working. The boys were working. The boys in the HF were working at engaging with the rest of the stadium. What's the matter with them? Hold on. Rest of the stadium. Hang on. Rest of the stadium. Lift up your game. Okay. Old Stand. Lift up your game. Whitehall End. I know some of you try down there, but lift your game. And rest of the Arthur, lift your game. The trouble is, we are diluted with many, many tourists. I get that. There are thousands of tourists in our stadium. Far too many for my liking. But you can't just leave it to Block E, okay? You can't just leave it to the lower Homesdale. We've got to get behind the team. It's what we are known at. What I hate to hear from any sort of fans is, where's your famous atmosphere? Well, they did their job. The HF in general yesterday did their job, and to be congratulated. And I've been their biggest critic, and they know I have. What I saw, what I witnessed yesterday was absolutely first class from them. with the display, with the volume, with their trying to engage with the rest of the ground. I've called them out recently. You know, since their move to Block E, it hasn't the sound doesn't travel that well. So you've got to engage the rest of the ground. Well, yesterday they tried to engage the rest of the ground. Okay, rest of the ground, you didn't respond very well. Okay, my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to a different one. If you so use the chat to tell me how wrong I am. But did we have the stadium? I know we didn't score a goal, and we would have had, Glad all over and all the rest of it. We would have done, but it did not transfer to the stadium yesterday. And they tried to make it happen, and you didn't pick up on it, Palace fans. We need to find a way of making this work better to help those guys who are trying to help the stadium. They did it yesterday. Ian, am I out of order? Have I said anything wrong? I'd like your opinion.
But no, because for once you've actually backed them up. But what I would say is that I said, and I know it's controversial. I know Joe's got one view on it, and obviously 400 people have a specific view on it. But I think the singing section is the right way to go. No one likes change, but change happens all the time. But what I would like to see is a singing section, a designated singing section in each stand. And I think what I was going to try and interject with was that I think it's such a first world problem, isn't it? They're expecting an immediate response. When we were on the terraces when we were kids, we knew exactly. We had phones with cords on them, so long distance calls. You used to wait a couple of seconds for someone to reply. So it's just they'll get used to it. As you say, they're using their loaf. They're trying to engage other parts that want to get involved anyway, but also feel as though the HF hog all the limelight. And I think by working together, we'll be create a more intimidating atmosphere, if that can be possible. With the small numbers that we have inside the ground. But yeah, no, I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I just think it's up to all of us, isn't it, just to carry it through.
Okay, so I was just going to pick up on a couple of the comments in the chat about it. I'm expecting dogs abuse to say the rest of the stadium was crap yesterday. Well, it's not. It doesn't seem to be coming through that way. Summer Kirsten saying HF were great yesterday. Greg Ellis is saying I've gone complete Basil Fawlty. I haven't gone Basil Fawlty. Andrew Adams is saying I was spot on. People need to get behind the team. Was the library at times? We need to step up. That's now when you're saying we need to step up, Andrew. That's everybody. That's the stadium. Come on, guys. It's all very well and good. You're looking at it from wherever you are in the stadium, but I sat with Ian with Kevin a couple of weeks ago in the main stand, and it was depressing. Okay, it was poor. The set, I know there's a certain amount of tourism, but it was dog shit. Okay, the Arthur is packed full of proper, good quality Palace fans, but they've also been, as I said earlier, diluted with lots of tourists, and we need to make up for that loss of volume with the tourists. Teresa Nigel Crouch is saying, "Hi Nigel, I hope you're well, buddy. HF sounded great on Sky." Teresa's agreeing with me. Jordan said he thought they were good. John Knox is agreeing with me. Liam's saying it's work in progress and will only get better. And do you know what, Liam? You are right, mate. It is work in progress. And you can say, and I know that they're aware of the soundproofing over the top of them isn't ideal. I know there's discussions behind the scenes about maybe improving that a little bit better. But the other thing I did notice was the volume in E was also moving over to the other side, DNF yesterday. Okay, so that was something I was really pleased to see. It's starting to feel a little bit. But even in those sections, it's not me being critical with the rest of the stadium. Even in D, E, and F, and the other ones beyond that. Come on, Palace fans, lift your game. We've got the toughest run of fixtures of our season in the autumn, in the first part of the autumn. It's down to us to get behind the players and support the boys. Doesn't matter the result. Okay, those guys yesterday kept going in the second half when we were 2-0 down. Okay, didn't stop. Okay, didn't stop. He sounded outstanding on TV. So on my behalf, and don't forget, I'm happy to be their biggest critic, and I'll call them out when they need to be called out. Yesterday, A1, top marks, and well done from as far as I'm concerned. As Liam says, it's work in progress, and so that's my little rant over. Okay, let's just take it up about 5 minutes to the show, and I apologise. Ian, second half, please, or anything on the game you want to finish up on.
Well, obviously, where you interjected 15 minutes ago, but we were talking about the VAR and how it was clearly a penalty, and yet somehow we managed to get away with it. City hit the post twice. As Jill said, they were dominant, and we were lucky not to be on the wrong end of a pasting. And then there was this almost like epochal moment, wasn't it? It was like the clouds parted, the light shone in, Benteke rose, first touch, header, goal bound, surely. And then out of nowhere, Ederson got a little bit of fingers on it, onto the bar.
Outstanding.
It was an amazing save. And then he pulled a second one off from Wilf 2 minutes from the end as well. A good save. But that's pretty much all we did. And the only efforts that we really had on goal that were, could be classed as, chances. But in the end, it was a fair result. Listen, you've got to take your medicine at times. And, they're just a quality side. I'd sooner they win it than Liverpool anyway. So I'm sooner give them the 3 points and nick a couple off Liverpool.
I'm really looking at the stats. The stats like everything you just said. They're on the screen now, and you can see on stats alone, they deserved everything they got yesterday, and we probably deserved everything that we got because of it. And I think that's fair to say. And I'm really pleased you just said that about Liverpool. I was delighted when they were losing today, even though it was Man United winning. Sadly, they got. I think a draw in that game was probably fair. I don't want Liverpool anywhere near the Premier League. Am I wrong in saying that? I can't stand them. I never could stand them. I'm delighted Man United are where they are. If it's me, I don't know. I would want City to win that title all over. What about some questions, Ian?
Well, we've had a number of questions today, haven't we? So, let's go back to Luca, shall we? Because Chris...
Let's do Luca. Come on, guys.
Yeah, right, okay. So, Chris Brandrick, he said, can we talk about Luca, please? First touch gives the ball away. Next touch gets booked again. In my honest opinion, doesn't offer us anything that our other midfielders do. He's a liability and even got the hump when he was subbed yesterday. Who does he think he is? Cahill's a better leader. The midfield looked more imbalanced at West Ham when he didn't play, and Maka did a far superior job in that holding role. I've had it with him. He finishes off. Now, what I would say is, again, we said this last week. We said that winning's a habit, losing's a habit, and you never change a winning side. And I completely agree with you, Chris. I wouldn't, after the way that McArthur and Kouyaté played last week, I would have kept them as a middle three. Christ knows what Camarasa thinking. He wasn't even in the squad again, was he?
In a minute, Ian. We're going to do Camarasa next.
But as far as Luca's concerned, I would actually, I think it was Lee put on something on a post on Red and Blue News earlier saying he's got another 23 games to not get another few bookings or whatever. I think if he gets another 2 or 3 bookings, then he's out.
So always 2 game suspension if it's I think it's
2 games,
15 3-match ban.
Yeah. So there's no chance that he's not going to get that. He is the most booked player in the league. Well, it's just not good enough.
Yeah, and I can agree with you. Okay, and I'm pleased you touched on Camarasa. Andrew Adams said in the chat, Camarasa, what a waste of cash. What's the point? Send him back. The reason Rakitic, Mayer, what's the point? Sell him if he's not going to get into a game. Jario, Jack, what's the point? I don't understand why we pay good loan fees and high wages, get players that are not good enough to play in the first team. Talk to me about.
I know. Well, again, it seems to me that we keep going back to previous shows and because nothing ever changes. It's like Groundhog Day at times. I was one of the few that saw him against Colchester. Lost the show. Okay, it was against Colchester, but Colchester did well. They knocked Tottenham out. They knocked us out. They played really well. But Camarasa, is first thought is to move the ball forward. Now, I know that Gel considers that, and my brother does as well, that there's this 15 game rule, in that if he plays 15 games, we have to purchase him. But what I would say is, if you're buying someone knowing that, then what is your plan? What are we going to do? Are we going to play him in the last 15 games of the season? You know, it's just ridiculous. What is the point of constructing or even agreeing to a deal like that, and then expect people to say, well, what the hell's going on? I know someone that's a good friend of Steve Parish, and you know, I've asked him if he'll find out for us as to what the issue is. Whether or not he'll get the info, I don't know. But I'd love to know for certain that is actually the case, because that is. I can understand it if you play 30 games for the side or 25 games for the side, but 15 games, honestly, that's ridiculous.
Well, maybe the manager's just holding him back for our running. I mean, he knows we're not going to get very much out of these autumn games. Who we got? City, obviously, Arsenal, Leicester, and Chelsea. Maybe he's holding him back until after that, and he's going to give him a run in over the winter. And it might be the manager. Don't forget, it was 2 weeks ago sitting here that we said the manager played a masterstroke by the tactics he played at the London Stadium against West Ham. He frustrated the hell out of West Ham, and we went and hit him on the break, won the game. Okay, maybe he's seen something in Camarasa that will be vital during a long cold winter. I don't know. People in the chat, what are your thoughts on Camarasa, please? And Mickey Philpotts just come back and said, "Don't hold your breath." Well, you may well be right there as well, mate. I don't know. Camarasa is our work. Got any more questions there from the audience while I'm looking through my notes?
Yeah, okay, right. So Camarasa, that was a question from Andrew Adams. Chris Brandrick, again, the two of them seem to come up with the best questions today. What do we think of the amount of tourists at Selhurst Park yesterday?
Yeah, I've got that, yeah.
There were more than I've ever seen.
Now that's not linked into what my rant was earlier on, by the way. That's an independent question that is standalone from what I was talking about. Go for it, mate.
See, but I think it's part and parcel, and it's not a part of the modern Premier League club ethos that I agree with. But clearly, everyone has got tourists. But let's not be fooled. Those tourists aren't there to watch Palace. They're there at the Liverpool games, the Man City games, the Man United games.
Yeah.
The majority of them are from Asia, and all they're doing is, rather than watching they're not watching the game through their eyes. They're watching the game through their phone, and I think that's where it pees off a lot of people and a lot of fans. You know, especially good, honest, level-headed, grounded fans such as us. I mean, people in Arsenal, they're too busy looking at the fillings in their sandwiches to be worried about the game going on a pitch. So you could expect it from a club like that. But for a club like us, where the vast majority of the fan base is local, from within about 20 miles of the ground, it can be quite frustrating, turning around and seeing somewhere, with a half and half scarf on. And it's just the commercial nature of the game now. Whether or not it helps us in any way other than a cover for the seat at the time, the price of the ticket, because again, they're not there to watch us a lot of the time. They're there as a way of getting to watch the Man Cities. So I would agree with Chris. I don't like it. Okay. And I don't think I can see a time where I'll ever like it, to be honest.
No, can I? And I'm going to bring one to you that you might not have seen. It came on later after you did all your hard work for us. And before I forget, thank you for all you've done for the show today. Sean Feeney in the background, thank you for everything you've done for the show today. I'm very grateful, even though your tech did let us down a little bit, but it's not an issue. Simon Cribbin is asking, does anybody know the details of the new contract for Benteke and Luca maybe this week? Because I don't think Luca's signed his new deal, or has he signed? Maybe he has.
Well,
Have they been?
let's hope there's a yellow card clause in it.
Yeah. Have you? Obviously, he's on a yellow card bonus. Maybe that's what it is. Have they been extended for a resale? Were salaries renegotiated? Okay. I don't know if you know anything about the. Let's do the Benteke one first of all. Okay. Now, we made this clear 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, that if Benteke is offered a new deal, it would simply be to cover an investment. Okay, to help us if we do sell him, get some money back on if any resale value that he may well have. I don't. My views on that subject haven't changed. Okay, he's only signed a 1 year deal. I should think he probably snapped that club's hand off, even if he had to take a 30% pay cut to do it. Okay? Which I can guarantee you, he did. I can guarantee you, he's not on the alleged 130 grand a week that he was on before. Even if he had to take a 30% pay cut, it's simply recovering an investment. He knows that his only option now. Bear in mind, he's only 28. He's only 28 years old.
Yeah, that's a shame of it.
That's the shame. This guy should be in his prime now, and he should be hitting back in the net. I did feel for him yesterday. I was hoping it would be that bullet ahead. If that goes in, it's a different game. But there you go. I don't know if you know if you're any of the wiser on the contract status, are you, mate?
No, not at all. But what I would like to know is whether or not, if you're correct in that, if it was renegotiated, there's no way on earth I would be happy with him still pulling in the wages he was on before that. He has got to accept that the sooner performance-related pay comes into football, the better. Yeah. End of story. The rest of us, the majority of us, in the real world are on performance-related pay. Pay them 40 grand a goal or whatever because it'll be worth it. 20 grand an assist or whatever because it means they're being productive. It means they're doing it. But all the time you are paying players a basic of 90 grand a week or 100 grand a week plus bonuses. Where's the motivation? You only need to look at the likes of Ozil at Arsenal, who's saying, I'm not going anywhere. I don't need to go anywhere. I don't care. Sanchez at Man United, before they just offloaded him because they're paying half his wages again.
Interesting you say that, Ian, because Rob Donovan just said in the chat, there is no way a Premier League player will take a pay cut. So that's basically, it's very similarly saying what you're saying. Ozil's saying, no, I'm sitting tight. Are you suggesting that the club won't have given him a pay cut to sign another deal? Because I reckon they must have done. I don't know.
Well, I would be furious if on this we had said we'll take you for another year on the same money, seeing as you've done bugger all for the last 18 months. Yeah, you're worth it. For what? I mean, they're going to get what, 6 million, 10 million for him? Is that, that'll just about cover his wages? It's nonsensical. Cut your losses, get rid of him.
Greg Ellis, a friend of our show, main part of our show, main part of Be Live and everything that we do. He said, loan Benteke. Oh, he's got off the screen now. Loan Benteke to whoever is top of the championship with the hope of getting £10 million for him in the summer. Set him out on loan now? Is that what you're suggesting, Greg? I don't think that's even possible, but maybe if
would he go?
Maybe in the January. Well, that's the other question. Would he go? And also everything we've just said, you can basically say ditto to on Connor Wickham.
Yeah, I completely agree.
You've lost faith with the Benteke situation. Teresa Baker saying she still thinks he'll come good. And Teresa, I love your optimism.
Not with us.
No, I don't think it will be with us. And that's a lot of that. Don't forget, let's be fair to Benteke. That's not necessarily down to the player. That's down to our system. We don't cross or put balls into the box. Look at City's goal yesterday. They dropped it between, who was it, Kelly and Ward, okay? Somebody gets on the end.
You're right. I mean, again, it's something we've said for months on here, is that when he scored 15 goals, you had Balassi on one wing, Wilf on the other, slinging in crosses. Why is Wilf not doing that now? He gets in plenty of those chances, but he's not slinging the crosses in. It was was it for PVA, the cross yesterday? And it was a great cross, and he was there and he got his head on it. I completely agree that he's not got the service, and that's why he got so much straw from me, and and he got a lot of slack from me on that basis. But what I would never forgive a player, and I said it last week on the West Ham, he came on in the last 6 minutes and he did bugger all. He couldn't even be asked to run like a dog for 6 minutes on 130 grand a week. That's all he needed to do. And instead, he turned the ball over twice and got booked for kicking it away. That's no good to anyone. I'm all for, this is where Jordan Ayew, and I hold my hands up because I was not happy with us signing him when it was muted last year and when it happened this year. But what I did say was if he scores a goal off his backside and it gets us 3 points, then he's justified his wages. And he's done more than that already. But that boy actually works. He runs around and he turns over ball a lot. Something that Benteke should be looking at him and saying, that's what I need to do. That's what I need to do. But he's just not.
3 goals, 6 points he's earned so far this year.
And it's worth every penny.
So £2.5 million or whatever we pay for Jordan, it's
paid for itself.
It's pocket change.
Yeah.
Absolutely pocket change. I mustn't forget to mention what's coming up next for us. Of course, is next Sunday away at Arsenal, of course, at the Emirates Stadium. Holmesdale Cravatic on Twitter at HC150N on tour. Sorry, 150 on tour. Sunday the 27th, Selhurst Park to the Emirates Stadium, 12 miles, raising awareness. This is not about raising money. We don't want you cash or anything like that. This is raising awareness of mental health and male suicide, the highest killers in the UK. Please come and join us. Ian's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Jell will be there, looking all bronze and suntan. And God,
hold on a minute. I'm the only one going to be doing it all, by the sounds of it.
It's too public for me to be able to broadcast that information. It's classified. Okay, I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you. Okay, get in touch with me if you want to come and join us. Better still, get in touch with Paul on Twitter. He'd love to hear from you. Send him a DM. What they're looking to do is get 200 participants this time. Come rain or shine, at some point we will be there. We will certainly be there at Selhurst Park on the kickoff. It will be the hardest bit apparently is going over Crystal Palace Hill. Okay, after that, don't forget, London is shaped like a large bowl, and it's predominantly it's all flat or even downhill from there. So come and join us. Join us on the 27th of 27th of the month. All welcome, inclusive for all abilities. Even me with my dodgy ticker. We've even got Arsenal fans coming along for a chat. I believe there's also a Millwall fan coming along. You can laugh at him about yesterday's result for Millwall. Come and join us. Let's try and support Paul. Last bits from on here. I've got from Simon Cribbin asked a question. Wilf bundling it over De Bruyne. We haven't spoken about this. I know Jill touched on it. Penalty or no penalty? Guys in the chat, your views, please. Penalty or no penalty? Are we finally getting some breaks this year? Seems so. Very little more. It seems maybe a little bit more respect from the refs. I know Jill's already sought with the ref for a couple of decisions that he made yesterday. But your thoughts?
Oh, clear penalty.
Yeah.
We were lucky. Yeah, clear penalty.
What about VAR? VAR then reviewed it.
But it wasn't a clear. It wasn't a clear. The problem is what people need to understand with VAR. The only way they can overturn it is if it's a clear and obvious error. And Anthony Davidson, wasn't he? Was he the ref yesterday? I can't remember. But he had sight of it and chose not to give it. So if his view was obscured, then yes, okay, they could say, look, you didn't see it. It was a clear shove or whatever. But he had a clear line of sight.
Yeah,
it's a bit like today where Liverpool Mane scored a goal. The reason that was overturned is because but it wasn't just because it's because Mike Dean, is it Mike Dean? Didn't actually have a sight of it. So they then said, look, you wouldn't have seen this, but this is it. So that's why it's been overturned. So I just think people need to understand it and just give it a slack. I can't think of any VAR decisions that have happened to date that by the letter of the VAR law about clear and obvious errors, probably maybe one or two they've got wrong out of what 30 already. I think it's improved the game, and and anything that makes Klopp whinge and squirm even more, I'm all for.
And Liverpool not winning anything, yeah, I quite agree. Anthony
Exactly.
Barber in the chat. Hi, Anthony. Thank you for joining us tonight, mate. He was talking about you talking about Benteke. He said, "Spot on, Ian. Work rate is fantastic." Obviously, you talk about Jordan. Benteke could help himself by putting in that same amount of running. Exactly what you just said. Regardless of whether he's actually a target man or not, he is actually put himself out a bit more, and you're more likely to see some opportunities. Andrew Adams is saying penalty, and we got lucky. Rob was saying penalty. Paul Glance is saying he was flying back for the Arsenal game. Oh, Clinton's just tweeted. Paul Glance said he was flying back for the Arsenal game, but they changed the bloody date. That's modern football for you, mate, and you know that more than anybody else. Paul, if you are at the Arsenal game, mate, come and find me and say hello. It'd be good to say hello to you at last.
Come on the walk.
Yeah, come on the walk. Yeah, if you are coming over, Paul, get your ass on the walk. Daniel Garlick saying clear penalty. Neil Chatterjee saying big time penalty. Folks in the chat, while we're wrapping up in the next couple of minutes, let us know what your score predictions is for the Arsenal game, please. So we're away at the Emirates Stadium. What do you think the score will be? Rob Donovan saying can't understand how that wasn't given. Max is saying poor referee. Paul Solan's saying VAR equals chaos. So he's actually disagreeing with what you're saying. You're saying it's improved the game.
In what way does it equal chaos? I don't get that.
Mate, explain yourself. You've got 5 minutes to explain yourself. How do you define chaos, buddy, please? Let's have a look. Teresa's saying, great show. Thank you, my darling. Everybody that's watching us all over the world, thank you for joining us. The scores are coming through. Paul saying, yes, mate, it was an absolute shambles. Graham saying 1-1. Graham Kitchen saying 1-1 next week. Someone saying 1-1. Andrew Adams saying 2-0 to Arsenal, I'm afraid. Well, at least you're being honest, mate. I appreciate your honesty. Daniel Garlick saying 2-0 to Palace, fingers crossed. John Knox, you should stop taking those drugs. He's saying 3-1 to Palace. Greg Ellis, 2-2. Tom Clark Samuel, thank you for your images this evening, mate. They'll be superb and long may they can continue to work with Red and Blue New. I'm very grateful. Steve Brimble is making a point about VAR, saying VAR is only for Sky for the super slow-mos, so they can show endless replays. Definitely a penalty, by the way. Nigel up north saying 1-1. Thank you for joining us, Nigel. Daniel Toms 3-1. Paul Holden saying if we go for it 5-0. Yeah, good luck with that one, mate. Good luck with that. Actually, Arsenal aren't great at the back, are they? They really aren't great on the back.
No, and they've got Louise at the back as well.
I think we do need a slightly different game plan from the London Stadium performance 2 weeks ago. He needs to. I think, whilst I think Paul's going a bit over to OCC with 5-0, he's probably tongue in cheek. There is an opportunity for us to go for it a little bit, and if that means bringing Andros on, do you your thoughts, mate? If you use Andros better this time, or?
Well, what I would say is the substitutions that Hodgson made yesterday were surprising. In that he made them early, and he took his love child off for one of them, and secondly, it almost paid off for Benteke, didn't it? When he came on, but I would like to think that someone like Maya would get a chance against Arsenal. Again, it's what I would like to have thought he would have actually got a chance today, but Hodgson's not. The fact that they've lost now means that he's got license to make changes if he so wishes. I think Gaeta will come back in. There was a chance he could have played yesterday, and I make him right. He was right in saying that wouldn't really be fair on Wayne. The guy's injured, so I'm not going to play him injured when I've got a perfectly good understudy. Perfectly good understudy. But then Hennessy played well. He did really, really well. But a number of players didn't do well, and they're the ones that Luca, I think. I'd like to think Luca will get dropped. Okay, where is it going to happen? I'd like to think Schlupp will make way for either Townsend or Maya. Will it happen? That's what needs to happen. There needs to be Just not wholesale changes, just subtle tweaks here and there.
But
Because
Andrew Adams' suggestion to you that Benteke to bully Louise next week.
I think that I think to nick a quote off Joe last week, if they were both in a sleep bag, they would be able to kick each other. I just think they're both clowns. Okay, you could use maybe Benteke as a battering ram, but he's actually got to put the effort in and do the work to batter people, and he can't be asked to do that now at the minute. I still think there's something there for us. A few weeks back, I said I'd like to see 6 points from the 6 games starting from West Ham. And I think this is a game, Arsenal, where we could at least get a point. And I'd be happy with a point. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being greedy. But I think that they suit us at the minute. Their style of play suits us, and their fragility at the back suits us. And if we can hold tight for the first 20, 25 minutes, I think we're in for a chance.
Well, listen, I am conscious of the time. We normally come off the air at 9 o'clock. Look, it's already 10 past 9.
I'm happy to go.
Difficult run of games. We know that Arsenal, Leicester, Chelsea and Liverpool, difficult run of games. I want you all to leave the show tonight with some optimism. Don't worry that we lost 2-0 to the champions. Okay, don't worry that Benteke's header was saved by probably the best goalkeeper in the country. Certainly in the Premier League at the moment. They have got a team of world-class players. We need to take positivity from a lot of the performance. He is absolutely right when he says there are some people who need to take a long, hard look at themselves and, without pointing the finger, Mr. Zaha, get your finger out and show that club that you supported as a lad that you want to join them next weekend. Because if you don't, you're in danger of being replaced by Townsend, is my honest opinion. Whether they swap the goalkeepers back again, I would guess they probably do. The way Wilf is playing, he's probably talking away from a top 6 transfer. So he needs to up his game to make sure he secures that top 6 transfer either in January or in the summer. Lots of thank yous. Tom, I've already done it a million times, but thank you. Ian, God bless you. Jill, thank you for interrupting your holiday to come and join us. We hope you enjoyed that little surprise. We got through quite a lot this evening, even though earlier in this show we had 1 or 2 little technical issues. Not forgetting Lucy Usher. Lucy is not with us this evening, but make no mistake. When you wake up in the morning, folks, tell your friends about our podcast because it will be everywhere, all over social media. Because Lucy's done her bit. She's chopped it all down. She's edited all the best, if there are any best bits. She's edited it, all the rest of it. She's done loads of stuff. She's been out on a long bike ride today, enjoying the weather. So, darling, thank you so much for everything you do for us in the background.
So what are you trying to say there? You're trying to say when people wake up, the first thing they need to think of is Lucy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's I was just trying to clarify the point. That's all. Sorry.
Lucy's Lucy and the podcast. Maybe not Lucy herself. Lucy and the podcast. Okay?
She's a legend.
Because she is a legend. She's a legend. And I tell you now, I will put. This is how there's Nick. It's the Nick, Joe, and Ian show now because it used to be the Nick and Joe show, but now we've got him on board. I'll slap head there. Okay, he's going to be on with us all the time because he's good at what he does. But we've got great people in the background: Greg Ellis, Sean Feeney, Ben Allen, Lucy Usher. But without Lucy Usher, she is the backbone of this show. And I'll make a commitment. If Lucy Usher gives up what she does for Red and Blue News, which she has no intention of doing, there won't be a show. So in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, please finish the show by saying a few thank yous to Lucy. Without her, we are just idiots. Well, we are just idiots anyway, but she makes us look good and she's been brilliant. I would like to thank each and every one of you all over the planet. If you're watching this live, thank you for joining us. If you're listening to us on the podcast or catching up on all the different podcast outlets, thank you for downloading it. Please give us a 5-star rating. But I'm not even bothered about that. We don't care about things like that. We leave that to the others. Ian, it's been my pleasure, mate. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope it wasn't too stressful for you.
Never stressful. Mate, I don't suffer from stress.
I think what we need to do before we go, we need to discuss next week. How the hell do we do a show next week when my legs will have fallen off from the walk. B, we've got a late kick-off at Arsenal. I've got to get back from Arsenal and try and get some preparation done for a live show at 8 o'clock, and I'm working Monday.
Can't we just do it in a pub somewhere?
Well, after the show, after the game.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, this is your...
See, I haven't got a ticket for the game anyway, so I'll be half cut by the time you get to the pub. I'll have walked and I'll be about 8 pints down.
Are you really not got a ticket for the game?
No,
Ladies and gentlemen in Red and Blue Newsland, he's doing the 12-mile walk across London and doesn't have a ticket for the Arsenal game. If anybody
that's a good cause.
If anybody, I know it is, but that's credit to you. If anybody out there is aware of a spare ticket knocking around, please contact myself or Ian. I will pay you cash for it, okay, just to get him into the ground. And we'll talk about it amongst us as a group about what we're going to do show-wise next week, because it will be difficult with being a Sunday evening kick-off or Sunday afternoon, late Sunday afternoon kick-off, and the fact that I'm working Monday, I might have to leave it to the boys. On behalf of everybody on our ever-increasing large team, thank you for watching. It has been our pleasure to be with you on your Sunday evening, and thank you for giving up the time, and thank you for giving up your evening. Good night, everybody. God bless. You know what's coming now.